Good morning, everyone. I will invite you to come into seated position and let us extend the legs in a comfortable way. If you already feel that you would like to elevate your seat bones with folded blanket, you can do that. Otherwise, let us just start warming up the ankles. Today we will work on some stability of ankles and hips and the core strength. So just flexing your feet and pointing your toes, feeling the connection between the muscles on the front of the shin and the muscles on the back of the shin. Just observing what is the mobility range for your ankles here. So a couple of flexed and pointing, and then just stop in a comfortable position and go with the right foot into circular movement. So try to kind of lock your heel on the floor and move the toe very, very slowly. So noticing how your shin bone and even the thigh bone rotate as you going one direction. So noticing how the knee, shin, ankle moves, and then change the direction and try to go to the full range. So when you flex, try to go to the maximum flexion when your heel comes off the floor, and then go as far as your hip in seated position allows you to go with the toe out. And let us go maybe one more. Did we change direction? Yes, right. Yes, we did the change direction. Okay, and just shake your leg. And let's do the same on the other leg. So start with one direction and try to stick your heel to the point, so you're not moving your leg off the alignment, and just noticing how the circle of the toe will actually initiate the movement of the thigh and shin bone. So notice how the knee is the kind of a hinge. So the knee connects to the lower part of the leg and the upper part of the legs, but you can't isolate the lower part of the leg movements, right? It's all connected through the knee, and it's very important to understand for the knee joint health. And change the direction. So when we walk, we step, if we have any misalignment in the ankle, right, we might injure the knee as well. So that's where the knee injury is coming from, the lateral and medial ligaments. Okay, and one more movement, opposite direction, and just shake your legs. Okay, so let us just bend the left leg, so you're comfortably sitting like a half cross leg position, and just hug your right thigh. And here I just want you to just warm up your knee, simply extending the leg to the maximum that you can, and then just bend. Okay, we'll just let the knee know that we will be flexing, we will be extending. So this is a flexion, this is extension of the knee joint. So feel how the extension allow us to stretch the back of the leg, and then let us change. So get your right ankle on the floor, hug your left thigh, flex the left foot, and go into a couple of movements. So you might not go into a full extension of the knee at this point, and that's okay. Just let the knee know we will be moving, and notice that this is the hinge movement of the knee. That is the main movement for this joint. Okay, and let us just extend the legs, shake the legs from side to side, and then cross the ankles and Allow yourself to come into standing position. And okay, we're not going to be using the towel right away. So let us set the feet hip distance. And I'm inviting you to lift all your toes and try to spread them. And as you lift in the toes, notice how the arches of the feet elevated as well. So think of the big toe joint, the pinky, and the center of the heel, 3 points pressed, arch of the feet engaged, and toes are lifted and spread, and then just bring the toes down to the floor. And most of you are familiar with this exercise. We will try to lift the big toe, having the other 4 toes on the floor, and then press the big toe and lift the other 4. So just if you have a trouble to connect to the muscles that to lift just a separate big toe, have your fingers pressing the 4 toes for the couple of reps. So lifting the big toe, then pressing the big toe, lift the 4. It might be a bit of a challenging for some of you, but it's important to activate small muscles on the foot, on the sole, and in general, it's a very good exercise for the health of the feet. So do your best, and if you have a fallen arches, that's where it would be pretty challenging to activate the muscles to lift the big toe. If your arches are strong, it's easier. And maybe one more time, 4, and the big toe. And just shake your legs. You might feel a little bit cramps, maybe. And let us just now stretch the toes and stretch the soles of the feet, and at the same time start activating the ankle stability. So come to the tippy toes as high as you can. Try to press. So you already know how to connect to the big toe muscles. So to keep the balance, to keep your ankle straight, you need to press the big toe to the floor. Try to find that and come down. So you're noticing, you're losing the balance when your big toe comes off the floor. So try to control that. And let's again, come to the tippy toes, pressing the big toe, activating the ankles. Of course, your leg muscles are working as well. Try to balance, squeeze your glutes, squeeze your lower abdomen, and come all the way down. Exhale. So do it a couple of times. I'm noticing that on my recording, my head is cut. So I need to adjust that, hopefully. And let's do it one more time. And release. So just walk from one foot to another a couple of times. Shake your calves. Maybe your calves are cramping a little bit. And here, again, return back to the parallel feet position and come to the outer edges of the feet and then come back to normal. So with a hip distance, we can go to the outer edges, and that's where you loaded the medial ligament. So a couple of times, just warm up your ankle. So just have this connection to the ankle, have a control. And now let's come to the outer edges of the ankles and let us squat. It will be like wrong squat, right? So just squat to the point where it's comfortable. Feel your knees, feel your ankles, and come up and rest. So we are performing the squat, performing this wrong position for the ankle to train our system to sustain that accidental rotation. So let's come one more time, and here I just want you maybe to bounce a little bit. Just to bounce a little bit. We also warming up hips this way, and let's come up and shake your legs. So let us step a little bit wider. For this, in this position, we're able to come to the inner edges of the ankles and bring your knees. So try not to touch the knees. Try to keep your thighs parallel and come up. So some of you might find that this is challenging. Just step a little bit wider. So you have your internal rotation of the hips coming here, like you can imagine that you're holding the block here, coming to the inner edges of the feet and come up. You are finding that you're working with some engagement of the inner thighs. So go a couple of times here, just to find the movement. And then we're gonna, next time we're gonna come here, we're gonna stop and bounce, and bounce. So your inner thighs are working. So if you're also having a block between the knees, your inner thighs even just burning here. You can do that if you have, you can reach to the block. And come up. Yeah, I can see some of you already need the rest. So shake your legs. Excellent. And from here we'll come to the standing position, feet hip distance. Engage your glutes. Stretch the arms toward the floor, and just to close your eyes and let us practice the diaphragmatic breath in standing. So for this, you're just allowing the belly to expand forward, but you try not to extend in your lower back. So maintaining your posture, ideal posture here. So you need to have some support for the rib cage as you're breathing. So we're practicing the diaphragmatic breath lying on the floor, so it's easy. But on standing, you might find some restrictions, so maybe your breath is not as deep, and this is okay. I want you today to just focus. What's the difference when we are breathing in standing position and in a relaxed position on the floor? Let's have here 5 more breaths. Allow some opening in the chest as well, but don't over breathe through the chest portion. Try to have it all into the belly. And for the next one, let's inhale, arms up. Stretch the arms toward the ceiling. Feel your shoulders and allow your shoulder blades to be lifted up toward the ears and drop them down. Lift them up, drop them down. And when you are performing this shoulder blades movement, again, try to control your extension. So any overhead position of the arms might result in extension of the spine. So try to be in control of your posture. One more time up, and then exhale, bring the palms together and fold forward all the way down. Release the head, place the palms on the mat, shake the head. Just allow some stretch on the back of the legs. Send the sit bones up toward the ceiling. Send the crown of the head down to the floor. So that's why be your first fold forward of a day. So you might feel quite a lot of stiffness on the back of the body. And let's very slowly roll up one vertebrae up toward the ceiling. All the way, and let's release. Okay, so I will move slightly forward. So we'll go for this fold, and then we'll step into a low lunge. With inhale, lift the arms up. So find your optimal position for the shoulder blades. Not too far up, but don't strain them down. Bring the palms together, hinge from the hips. Exhale, fold forward, release the head, allow another stretch, and then let's step the left foot back and drop the left knee down to the floor. You're welcome to use the blocks here for a bit of support, and move your heel closer to the back knee to allow your front knee to pass forward as much as your ankle allows you without lifting the heel. So this is actually a test for your ankle mobility. So if you will have a wall here in front of your knee and your heel is down and you progress into the maximum flexion of your knee, maximum flexion on the ankle, you should have 1.5 inches, close to 1.5 inches. You don't need to measure that. I'm just giving you idea that this calls the natural flexion of the ankle. If your ankle has less mobility, you probably will not touch the wall here. So just compress it, and at the same time stretch the back hip. Here you're also compressing your knee to the maximum. So the key here is the comfort of the knee. You're not trying to go more than it feels good for the knee. And from here we're going to tug the back toes and lift the hips to release the right leg and come into the downward dog. So take your time to find your downward dog. Distance between hands and feet, and maybe press the heels toward the mat. So, and then just stop where it feels right for you. So this ankle flexion very often is a limit in a downward dog. So if we have limit in flexion, we compensate that in the lower back by rounding that, because our heels are not coming to the floor. And that's where it's important to bend the knees and still get the neutral spine. And let's drop the knees down to the floor. Step the left foot forward. Again, you're welcome to use the blocks. Move the knee forward as far as you can go. Compress the ankle without lifting the heel off the floor. Feel stretch on the back hip. And just hold here for a couple of breaths. You feel very good stretch, very intense stretch in the calf muscle of the front leg. More you're able to pass the knee, more stretch you can achieve. Hold in another breath, and then let us lift the hips again and step again into the downward dog. And press one heel at a time toward the floor, and then stop. And again, experiment by bending the knees, finding your neutral position of pelvis. Try to direct your heels lower toward the floor. Just check how your ankles. Just look on the downward dog today in terms of the ankle mobility. Taking another exhale, and then look forward and walk to the front of the mat. Set your feet hip distance, hand here for the breath, and then very slowly relax on rounded spine to think that you are hugging the ball in front of you and pressing the ball into the spine, and very slowly and roll up into standing position and taking the breath here just to let the blood circulation to come to normal. Let's go again. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, folding forward passively. Step your left foot back and drop the left knee down to the floor. But this time you want to have your 90-degree of the right ankle. I'm turning here so you have a 90-degree of your ankle. And again, let us have blocks here. And I want you to move the knee from side to side. And as you're moving the knee from side to side, just observe what's happening in the ankle, what the hip feels, what the knee feels. And this movement is really illustrate again how the knee is just the hinge. You can go in your ankle almost to the outer edge of the ankle, but knee stays aligned and your hip comes to external rotation. When you come in, you depend how high you are, you can come to the inner edges of the foot. You feel your hip is internal rotation, but knee stays as a hinge. So a couple of times movement here. And that's why when we're practicing all our lunges, we would like to have this alignment straight, because the knee just like this directional. And when you're ready, step into downward dog. Exhale. Lengthening through the spine, pressing the heels down. You might feel a little bit more of the right thigh right now. And let's drop the knees down to the floor and step the left foot forward. So again, you starting with aligning the shin perpendicular to the floor. You're welcome to use the blocks. And let's do again this movement of the knee in and out. And observe how you feel ankle, knee, hip connection in this internal. Basically, this is the hip rotation. It's internal and external rotation of the hip, but those three joints are connected through bones, of course, and we need to understand the mobility of each of the joints in the lower limbs. And then again, find your way to step into the downward dog. Every time we're stepping right now in downward dog is the possibility to stretch the back of your body, to release the spine. And here, believe it or not, we have this connection between ankle mobility and the lower back extension. Everything is connected in the body. Limitation in one area will bring limitation in the other area. And then look forward and walk to the front of the mat. Set your feet hip distance. Just hang here for the breath. And then very slowly roll up into standing again. Exhale. So open your chest. Let's go for next one. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, folding forward all the way down. And then step your left foot back. And this time you're staying in the high lunge. Don't go too wide because we're going to be here for some time. So you need to have enough strength in your legs to sustain the lunge. So the front knee in the 90 degree and back leg is support. And this right now, for this variation, it's really important to find the back leg support. And we're gonna, again, bring the knee in and out. But this time, you want to have your foot stick to the floor. So you're not lifting the big toe. You're only moving the hip. And as you do it, I want you to feel how the leg muscles, the upper part leg muscles working here, but knee stays still in a hinge position, and you just might feel a little bit stretch on the ligaments of the upper muscles connecting to the knee. Yes, very good. It's not easy. A lot of strength of the back leg. A lot of a core strength. We're going to come to that shortly, and then find your downward dog. If you feel in this downward dog you want to stretch your left leg, welcome to lift the leg up and shake it. Of course, you can do this for the right leg as well. Shake the leg and then just hold the downward dog. Exhale. To change the leg, let us bring the knees down to the floor to step the left foot forward, and then tug the back toe and lift the right knee. You're going to adjust the stance and bring the hands to the hips, lift the torso up. Get your 90-degree knee to start with. So don't be too open. I want you to have a 90-degree and then move the knee in and out. So this exercise also helping us to understand why I'm in every class again and again and again asking you to find your back leg support, because the front knee is for balance. Support comes from the back leg, from the core. We can move the front leg. Okay, and then bring the hands to the floor, step into downward dog. Again, welcome to maybe lift right leg and shake it, relax the quad of the back leg, and of course, to balance, shake your left leg, and then let's drop the knees down to the floor. So we're coming into the tabletop position. So I'm pretty sure it was a bit of a challenge. You maybe held your breath a little bit, so just balance the breathing. Let us flow through the cat and dog stretch to balance the breathing again, to find a nice flow. Inhaling, coming into extension of the spine. Exhaling, pulling the belly in, tucking the tailbone under. Stretching the back of your neck. Go into a couple of more. And then we'll stop in the neutral position, bringing the knees together and extending the right leg up. So let us lift the right leg off the floor and try not to collapse either left or right side, right hand, but try to maintain your pelvis parallel. You're welcome to check it with a block, sitting on your pelvis, and press the heel away, engage your hamstring, holding the belly in, and when you're ready, take your left arm parallel to the floor. Neck is neutral, head is aligned with the arm, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's release. So if you're practicing with a block, the block stays parallel to the floor. Extend the left leg. So when you're extending the left leg, you're not collapsing to the right. You controlling the shoulders and arms. And when you're ready, this time we will take the right arm parallel to the floor. Head is aligned with the arm. Left foot is flexed. You are kicking the heel away and engaging the hamstring, engaging the glutes. Neutral position, like you want to hold the belly in toward the block. If you're using one on the lower back, holding for another exhale. And let's release. So if you had a block, you can release it, because for the next one, you will have a little bit of a spinal extension. So knees are still on the midline, and this time we're gonna flex the foot and we're gonna lift the foot parallel to the floor. So make sure that you're not taking your heel closer to your glute. You maintain a 90 degree. And here I want you to start kicking the heel up toward the ceiling. So not toward your back of the head, but up. And movement happening from the right glute. And try at the same time not to extend too much. Still control your abdomen. You should start feeling the glute and the right hamstring burning. And let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. So you should feel it on the back of your leg if you do it correctly. And let us try left. So lift your knee, maintain your 90 degree leg. So it's not bent much. You think of taking the knee off the floor, heel toward the ceiling, neutral neck, engage the abdomen, and start finding this kick movement. So think of the glute initiating this movement. It's not the knee, but it's the glute initiation. And let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Let's take the toes together, knees apart. Press the hips toward the heels and allow a bit of a stretch of the lower back, a bit of a stretch of the glutes here. Exhale. Taking another breath, and then let's Come into downward dog as a transition to standing. So when you're ready, walk to the front of the mat, set your feet hip distance, hand here, allow some stretch, hamstrings and glutes, and then roll up into standing position. Exhale. So taking the breath here, let's go to another flow. With inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, folding forward, releasing the head down. Then stepping the left foot back, and all what we learned about this position, lift your torso up, keep your knee 90 degrees, use your back leg. Let us lift the arms into the warrior one. Gaze is to the front, don't extend to the lower back. Remember that center is here and you want to keep it all stable. Back leg help you to control the position, and front knee is for balance. On next exhale, bring the hands on the floor and drop the left heel down to the floor. So reach to the block and put the block into high, and bring the right hand to the block and rotate yourself toward the left, taking the left arm up into extended triangle. Keep rolling your left shoulder down and back like you want to touch imaginary wall behind you. And I would like you to be aware of the front leg. Where is your knee? Your knee should be 90 degrees. And in relationship to this external rotation of the right hip, I want you to feel your left hip. So very often restriction comes from the left hip. It can't be open completely, so don't stress it. Be aware of the front knee, be aware of the knee hinge that we discussed earlier. On exhale, release your left arm down to the floor, lift your left heel, and step into downward dog. Exhale. On next exhale, drop the knees down to the floor, readjust your position into the tabletop. Keep your toes tucked and lift your knees off the floor here. Neutral spine, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop the knees down to the floor. Step your left foot forward, tap your toes, lift your right knee off the floor. Maybe adjust the stance a little bit. Lift the torso, ground yourself, and then lift your arms up. So first I want you to feel grounding, then control, center here, and then you're reaching with the arms up, holding. Again, here restrictions could be in the back ankle. So it depends on the ability to flex the ankle. You might be not able to use the full strength of your hamstring. Do your best. Sometimes we need to lift the hips a little bit to use the leg. On exhale, bring the hands down to the floor and step into downward dog. Exhale. Then drop the knees down to the floor. Reset your tabletop position. Keep your toes flexed. A bit of mobility for toes, and then lift the knees off the floor, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We missed the extended triangle. That's why we need to step the left foot forward again. Lift the back heel, drop the heel, place the block inside the left foot, bring the left hand to the block, and open yourself to the right side. So here we exercising the external rotation of the left hip, controlling the knee going straight, and just checking what's happening, just checking how the right hip responds to this position. And if it wants to collapse forward, let it collapse. Work more into rotation in thoracic spine to open the chest, reaching with the tip of the fingers up toward the ceiling. Hold another breath. And then bring the hand down, step into downward dog for transition, and then look forward and walk to the front of the mat. Exhale here, and then very slowly roll up into standing position. Exhale. So let us step into the wide-legged position, toes out, and when you're ready, come into squat. So bounce here and a squat a little bit, maybe even going from side to side. So you can see that my knees passing my ankles, right? And that's okay, but try to walk your hips from side to side. Again, some ankle mobility here, and of course hips, and then stop to the center, and then just take a look if you're able to keep your heels exactly aligned under the knees. So your knees are not wider than your heels. And then bring your arms in front, seat low, and then here I want you to check if you're compensating some restrictions in hips in your lower back. So make sure that you're having a neutral position. That's where your glutes will work more. You can have your arms where it feels right for you. You feel your inner thighs working. Check your knees. They might be falling, so I don't want you to overload your knees and come up, rest. Yes, you need to rest already. Okay, so you can even go closer and shake your legs. We're going to be in the squat again. So when you're ready, coming into the squat, and this time again go as wide as it feels right for you, and let's come to the right as much possible to the right, but keep working on your knee. So we love to do this. So if you can see, my knee collapses in, so all my body weight comes to the medial ligament. So we want to get this right hip extended, inner thigh should control the knee. The left leg is straight if it's possible. And then come up. And let's go out on the other side. You might feel like you want to open your toe, left toe a little bit more, and close your right toe a little bit in. So control your left hip, so go to the left hip, right knee is straight, and just observe what's happening in your left leg. Your inner thigh, your ankle, your hip, how that feels. And come back. And then here we will turn the toes in, so you have internal rotation of the hips, and just fold forward in a very relaxed manner. You're welcome to use the blocks. Exhale. Feel your seat bones goes up toward the ceiling, and then very slowly roll up into standing, and then go toes, heels, bring your legs together, and that's where we will start using the blanket. So we're adding this environment when we are stepping on an uneven surface. If you feel that and you know that your ankle is very strong, you're welcome to right away use the block and step on the block. But I will be demonstrating on the blanket, so depend on how high your blanket. So if your folding is a little bit higher, it will be a little bit more challenging. And I want you just for the first one, just get used, get your nervous system to be used to this elevation from their solid surface. So you just standing, and check how you feel in your ankle, knee, hip connection. And if you're able, and this is an important thing for balance pose, press your big toe to the floor. So if you have the strength of the arches of the foot. And also here, we come into the two other aspects of holding the balance: hip stability and core stability. We're going to talk for the next set. So let's rest this leg and step your left foot on the blanket or block if you are quite strong. And here, just hang. Notice how when ankle is unstable, your knees start moving, right? Shivering here. And that's where the injury is happening. We loading in or out of the knee. So all the muscles that connect into the knee should stabilize the knee. And it starts from the foot muscles here. We're never talking about foot muscles, but this is important. Okay, my head is still cut in the video, so if you're going to practice this on your own, you will not have half of my head. And let's release. Okay, so shake your leg. So this time when we come and step with the right foot, before we're going to lift the left leg, I want you to engage the glute, inner thigh, lower abdomen. First of all, to stabilize the hip, and then let us this time lift the left knee higher. You can use your arms for balance. So you're using your glute, you're using your abdomen and holding here. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, let's have 2 for Cindy and 1. Release. Okay, shake your leg and let us step the left foot on the blanket. And before we're going to lift the right leg, engage the glute, engage your lower abdomen, stabilize the system, and then lift your right knee up. You can use your arms wide, flex the foot and hold. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's release. So step from side to side, shake your legs, and let us again come to the front of the mat. Take your arms on the sides of the hips. Let's go to another flow. With inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, folding forward, release the head. Step your left foot back into the lunge, strong legs, lift the arms up, hold. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands on the floor, or you might find the 2 blocks on the both sides of the right foot, and then kick the left leg up and lift the chest up. You can use the blocks for the support, just tip of the fingers touching. Try to keep your hips square. Flex the left foot, very similar to what we did on the knee. And you can have your arms on the blocks, or you can take your arms to the front, holding for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step the left foot back, release the blocks, and step into downward dog. Exhale. On next inhale, flow into plank. Push the floor, stabilize your pelvis here with all the muscles around the midsection of the body, internal and superficial. And then drop the knees and come all the way down. Exhale. Keep your hands on the sides of the rib cage, roll the shoulders back, point the toes, very gentle back bend. Today we're not focusing on back bends, just a bit of a chest opening, shoulders rotation, and then tuck your toes. Exhale, come into the downward dog. Long spine. Step your right foot to the midline and step your left leg forward into the lunge. You're welcome to use the blocks. And we'll lift the torso up. Take your arms up into the warrior 1, holding 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release down. Maybe stepping the blocks forward. Have a tip of the fingers to the block and lift the right leg up. Have a soft left knee. Have a pelvis aligned. Leg is working. You can take your arms in front or have them where it feels right for you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the hands on the blocks. Release the block and step into the downward dog. Exhale. On next inhale, flow into plank. Drop the knees and come all the way down. Exhale. Keep the hands on the sides of the rib cage, pointed toes, lift the chest up. And then from here, press yourself into child pose for just a couple of exhales. Relax your arms. And then cross the ankles and come sitting on the back of your mat for a couple of 90-90 movements. So right away, take your heels wider than the mat. Have a 90-degree in the knees. And let us go from side to side. Dropping knees to one side, dropping the knees to the other side. So this time, we want to lock ankle and we want to lock the knee. So ankle and knee stay, so all the lower leg is in a locked position. And we now came to exploration of the hip rotation. So we are bringing all the discussions from the beginning of the practice today to the hip now. Okay, and understanding that basically the movements of the lower limbs more or less started in the hip, and then through the knee goes to the ankle, while we actually use an ankle as initiation of the movement of a step, walk, climb, etc. So going, maybe already reaching the front of the mat, so just finish the both direction, and then let us come into 90-90 with the right knee backward, 90-degree, okay? So you're facing your left shin, your right hip might be off the floor. Let's lean forward a little bit to lift the right leg off the floor. So you using your inner thigh, it might be very restricted in the hip joint. So lean more, maybe even having the hands on the floor, and then drop. Let's rotate to the other side. Reset. 90-90 here. So maybe falling forward a little bit to lift the left leg off the floor. So your inner thigh is working, you controlling again this 90 position. So having a bit of the muscular work here. And drop the knee. Let's go back to the position with the right knee behind, left ankle in front. And this time we're going to lift the right knee, and then like a slide, we'll bring the leg parallel to the left without touching, and then move it back, and then drop. I know, this is a hard one. You need to use your core. Let's do it one more time. So lift the right leg, move it to the front, and move it back, and drop. Let's rotate to the other side. Set your hips in 90 position. Slightly lean forward, lift your knee, move it to get it parallel. So if you have a measurement, your knees are one above another, heel one above another, move it back and drop. One more time. You can lean, you can have your hands on the floor if you need to lift it. You might have restrictions in the hip to do so. It's okay. So bring it here, bring it back, and drop. Let us shake the legs, rest. We have one more variation of this movement. And we're coming again with the left knee in front, right knee back, 90-90. We're going to lift the right leg, bring it parallel, and then we're going to open that. So we have heel above the heel and knees are open. You see tall here. Your inner thighs are working. And then let's close. So again, roll to the left hip and then move it back and drop. Let's rotate to the other side and do the same here. So maybe leaning forward more. Hips have a different mobility. Lift the left knee. Bring it to the front, open, and then close, and then move back, and drop. Great. So let us shake the legs. And let's come into the line on the back. You might still shake the legs here a little bit. Again, you might notice that to shake the legs, you need to initiate the movement in hips. So just relax the muscles of the legs. We're done with that. We'll work a little bit on the core strength. So let us start with the dead bug position. So getting your knees 90 degrees. So if you're not sure if your knees are 90 degrees, if your knees are not falling too close, you can take your hands and more or less you should touch the knees with the tip of the fingers. You can lift the heels slightly high, or at least you keep them 90 degrees, but you're not having the heels dropped. And maintain position when you're pulling the lower, pulling the belly in to press the lower back down to the floor, and take the arms up, and let us hold the static position for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's release. If you find it through the hold, you're arching your lower back and you're not able to control, you need to have a rest. So next time we'll come into the dead bug position. Again, I'll measure where your knees are. And we're going to bring the hands behind the back of the head. And this time we're going to lift the head off the floor and you're pulling the belly in. Your best is to get your shoulder blades off the floor, pulling the belly down, holding 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's rest. Exhale. We're going to have one more static and then we'll try to do it in dynamic. So get your knees 90 degrees, lift your head off the floor, pull your shoulder blades off the floor, have a belly in, holding 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come down, take a rest. So this time we're going to try 5 times to lift the head off the floor. So here your spine will come from more neutral into flex position. And you make sure that every time you're lifting your head and shoulder blades off the floor, you have your lower back flat, pressed on the mat. So hands behind the head, legs are 90 degrees. Lift the head, pull the belly in, drop the head down. That's 1. Lift the head, pull the belly in, drop the head down. 2. Lift, hold. Check your knees, they're 90 degrees. 3, your heels are not dropped. Lift. You already should feel burning in your rectus abdominals. And lift the head off and drop the head. Release the heels. Take your arms wide and have your feet maybe wide as well on the edges of the mat. Let the knees drop from side to side. Catching your breath. Maybe you held your breath when you exercise in the core. And then we'll extend the left leg and we'll take the right leg across. You can turn the head to the right. You can here check any position that suits your body right now. You might feel a bit of a release in the lower back, release in the abdomen area with this twist from the core work that we added today. And release the right leg, reset your knees, reset your hips. Let's extend the right leg and take the knee across. Bring the chin to the left shoulder. And let's release and let us roll on the belly to stretch the abdomen area. So for this position, you want to have your feet slightly apart and they relax. So yeah, bring your hands on the corners and lift the chest. So I'm in my strength sessions, I have a huge challenge to relax my lower part of the body in the sloppy push-ups, because I just so get used to use my back muscles. So here, really you want to be really relaxed in the lower back because you want to stretch the front of the body. We practicing so many back bends, and we by now should really work with a proper alignment for the spinal extension. So it might be a hard thing to do for relaxation, but it's a good thing. It means that we definitely support our spine properly. And let's release and let us again roll on the back. Bring your knees to your chest and massage the lower back here. Then when you can reach to your block, lift your hips with a block and take the legs up. Take the arms, the sides of the hips. And if you like to move your legs, it's a good thing. Also, maybe just checking one more time before Shavasana, your connection to the ankles, your connection maybe to the knees, and even here connection to the hips. If you will rotate your feet from side to side, you again can have this alignment on the center of your thigh, center of the shin, and understand that the movement actually comes from the hip. It's a very moderate rotation of the hip here in this position, but just one more time to come to the theme of the practice to understand that. And then you can shake the legs. That's also great exercise to understand how joints are all supported by muscles, and when muscles are relaxed, you start feeling your joints like nothing is supporting the joints. You just feel how the bones are shaking here. And let's move the block away and extend one leg at a time. And just Shavasana, taking the arms to the sides, turning the palms up toward the ceiling, keeping neck neutral, taking a deep inhale, and exhale through the mouth. Allow yourself a couple of moments on silence, stillness, and as you connect into your body through scan, pay some attention to how you feel in your ankles, knees, and hips. If you feel more awareness on the build of your lower limbs, of relationship to the rest of the body. The lower limbs are so important because we use them every moment for standing, sitting, walking. It allows us to move in space, to see the things, to do the things. then let us add the movements back slowly. Stretch the whole body, point the toes. Exhale through the mouth on the relaxation and then roll to one side and come into seated position. Bring the hands in front of the heart. Take a moment to admit the end of the practice. You know, in strength training, there have to be leg day. So today we have the yoga leg day. Thank yourself for being able to attend and use any benefits of this class, physical or mental, emotional, to be a guide through the rest of the day. Namaste.